Hey,
Yo,
a long time no talk.
right, right.
So thank you again for being here. I want to introduce the series, introduce you, and then it's all you.
No
So
problem.
if you're here, either because you've seen the flyer, thank you for being here. If you're here because you just saw us go live, thank you for being here. This is the first episode of the Know Better, Do Better series. And this series is specifically to amplify Black voices, either Black members of the Dearborn community or Black Arab and or Muslims who obviously we should be holding the mic to during this time to speak on certain experiences they've had in predominantly Arab communities. Um, Listen with an open mind. This is this gentleman's story. This is not, someone's opinion. At the end of the day, like this is real facts. So we will be trolling people in the comments. If anyone has something stupid to say, we'll block you. So know how to act. But without further ado, I do want to introduce Michael Williams. Michael went to Fordson. He graduated a little bit before me, but I had the pleasure of attending Fordson with his sisters, Kiki and Viv, and I love them both. Great family. So thank you for being here, Michael.
No problem. It's good to be here. It's good. It's good to be able to shed some light on some darkness that's going on right now in the world. To everybody who is paying attention and everybody who checked in while we're live, that's good. I appreciate you. Thanks from both Rima and myself. It's always good to see everybody on there, the Dearborn family, so to speak. So yeah, we're on here, and I just wanted to talk about what it was to be Black growing up in Dearborn, right? So my family, I come from a family of 10, right? So 5 boys, five girls. I'm kind of the middle-aged oldest, however you want to say it. But yeah, we moved to Dearborn when I was in third grade, and I went to William Ford. Um, it was a total culture shock to me, right? Coming from Detroit, all I saw was people my color, people that looked like me, and moving to Dearborn where I've never seen anybody else look like that, right? But at home, I've always believed that things start at home, and things you learn and things you are taught are always taught from home. And my parents always instilled in me that, respect for yourself, respect for others, no matter if they look different than you, if they talk different, it's always the same respect. It's mutual respect until they disrespect you.
Mhm.
I can remember my first day in elementary school. I got in a fight because somebody called me the N-word.
Mhm.
Right in the when we used to have recess in front of the basketball court. Got called the N-word, and me being young and naive, my first train of thought was to attack. So that's what I did. Um, Needless to say, it was a rough start, right?
Mhm. Was this an
uh,
Arab student? I
oh
think
yeah,
it's
yeah,
relevant
yeah,
in this
yeah.
conversation. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everything I'm going to be referring to, I mean, because at that time, literally, I know my family was the only Black family around in East Dearborn, right? So everybody else, there was an is either conflict with an Arab or an Arab's family or anything like
Mhm.
that. So, needless to say, it started off rough. And as I went into middle school, I didn't really get in too many fights. I mean, my whole time there, elementary school through high school, I probably got in one or two fights. I'm
Mhm.
not really a fighter unless I'm really stepped to or disrespected, but I've always used my head, used my brain. Things aren't worth it. Hey, even though you have your normal Dearborn tough guy who thinks that's because he lifts weights, and he comes by with 20 of his friends, he feels
Mhm.
strong enough to and thinks he's the man because he jumps a guy, and that was the usual Dearborn tradition. Um, but it was just a different way, it, and a lot of people aren't going to like what I say, but to me, until this day, it might have gotten a little better, but Dearborn was very closed-minded when it came to
Mhm.
race. Um, Very closed-minded. The Civic Center right there off of Michigan Avenue was my safe haven, right? So, I mean, I was a young kid, and all I did and all I knew was basketball. So I think sports kind of opened myself up to the Dearborn community, because before then I was just this Black boy walking through the neighborhood. I remember I, I was walking back and forth to school and stuff, and police officers, my sisters and my brothers and I, we would walk through the neighborhoods coming from William Ford or Woodworth or Fordson, and police officers would sneak up on us and ask us if we lived in the neighborhood, right? And we had to give them our address, and some of them actually followed us. Like if we were on Argyle, they would follow us into our house, right into our house, just to make sure we weren't lying, you know? But the city back then especially was very racist. And when I say racist, I want to say parents, students. Some of my friends, and I'll double back on that, some of my friends were racist, but they didn't know they were racist. Some of the things they said, the behaviors that they took part in was very racist, right? So teachers, coaches, we were definitely put in a box because of our color, you know. I was able to break through that, but I feel bad because my family wasn't, you know, or some people that were close friends of mine couldn't break through that barrier and actually play sports, and they were pretty good because they were Black, right? So Fordson, you know how it is. If you grew up in the sports community in Dearborn, then you're going to continue to play sports. Right. But if you were African American coming in, starting, and your first time in a Dearborn school was in 9th grade, right? No matter if you have talent or not, or at least back when I was in school, you could have the talent. Yep. You're not going to make it, you know. I did my best to do it, but I didn't want. Back then, I was still in high school. I was a boy, you know, so I couldn't really advocately speak up for what I thought was right because I had fear that, one, my teammates were going to say something, two, my coaches were going to kick me off the team, and I loved basketball. You know, that's the only way I got to college, right? I mean, yeah, I'm smart, right, but I got a full ride because of my ability to hoop. Yeah, I can recall the time when I was on varsity. It was my senior year or my junior year. It might have been my junior year. It was my sophomore year. My brother, no, junior year. My brother, he had braids, and he had like some things in his hair, like beads or something, and they were in the game, right? And my brother he was real good. He still is pretty good, but he was good. And he would always ride the bench. But this day, you know, he was going to go in. But the coach, not his coach, the head coach, told him he couldn't play if he had his hair like that. So he had to take the beads out of his hair before he could play in the game.
In front of everybody, too.
Rima, this is during the game. Like, my man's is about to check in, and he's saying, no, you got to take that out. So on the bench, he's taking the beads out of his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, out of his hair. Are you serious? Like, right then and there?
So to follow up on that, to people who don't think that is a big deal or don't think that is racist, can you, like, explain why that's inherently a racist thing to ask a Black person to do?
So let me tell you. Okay, so it's not as dramatic, right? But, and I love, and you know this, I love Middle Eastern culture. I love the women. I love the men. I love what everyone stands for. But it's almost equivalent to somebody on a women's basketball team, and a girl with a hijab comes up and she thinks she's about to sub in, and somebody says, oh, no, a referee or coach says, oh, you can't play with that on. It's equivalent to a young man a couple years back. He was a wrestler, and he had dreads. And the referee told him that unless you cut your dreads, you cannot be in the match. And it was for like a state championship. And the little boy, Black boy, ended up cutting his dreads because he wanted to wrestle. The referee made him cut his dreads right before a match, or he was going to be disqualified. You know, it's just certain things like that. You know, I'm walking through the hallways every day, and, you know, I guess it's a stigma on how black guys are supposed to talk or present themselves. So every time I walk past certain people in the hallway, it's, hey yo Mike, hey yo Mike, and it's like, yo, I don't talk like that, man. You say hello to me, I say hello to you. You know, like, I don't talk like that. I don't present myself like that. And that's what I was talking about. Like, even some friends, you know, it was innocent to them, but what's innocent to some may be detrimental to others. You know, I question myself, like, yo, do I really talk like that? Do I sound like that? No, and I don't. But everyone's saying it. But it's based off of what movies show. Movies, the rap and that, the rap in that here. And that's when I got into high school, it really took some thinking about like who I am and what I was, because Rima, I really wanted to fit in. I really wanted to fit in. At one point, and my friends, could say this, like I was fasting, I read bits and pieces in translation of the Quran. Like I wanted to marry and convert, at one point, like I was real close to like being very committed and wanting to marry a young lady. And, it was just too much for me to have to sneak around all the time and do this because her cousin might see me or see us or do this or that. And it got to a point to like our student versus teachers game. I was dating a young girl and her brothers found out. And before the teachers and students game, I'm warming up and I go outside in the hallway, the long hallway outside of the gym at Fordson, and I get stopped by her brother, her older brother that graduated, her brother that's in school, and her mom, ready to jump me outside of the game.
Her mom.
Yeah. So if coaches are buying, which he's the man, I swear, that's second to none. Second to none. But Haj is the man. But if Haj didn't come out there and say, what's going on? And he told those other guys, because he plays football and he's the football coach, get out of here, and he pulled me in there. He asked me what was going on. I was like, Coach, this is a long story. Don't worry about it. But it's just certain things like that. Like, so that made me feel like, I'm good enough to be your wide receiver. I'm good enough to hoop, score all these points. And, me and my other brothers, that's what I call my teammates, my brothers. I'm good when I'm playing sports for you, but I'm good to hang out with you, but as soon as I bat an eye or your sister bats an eye at me, then I'm the N-word. And that took place a lot, and the young lady that I was talking about earlier, yeah, her mom accepted me for who I was, but when it came to her dad threatened to disown her, and he tried to send her back to Yemen if she continued to talk to me. And willingly, she was just going to give it all up. But me, I can't be responsible for breaking up a family like that. Because eventually, both sides, both parties are going to want to try to rehatch or reheal it. And just that ignorance alone, I can't be responsible for that. Her dad has some growing up to do, and by that time he's a grown man. And that saying, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. Just racism is strong. When it's embedded in someone's soul, it's kind of hard to get out. Everyone keeps talking about it takes time. It takes time. Well, they started saying it takes time when my grandmother's mother was a slave, right? And this is legit. Like, my grandmother's mother was a slave in the fields picking cotton. She died when she was 102. Then they say, okay, it'll take a little bit more time. And my grandma ended up passing. She died at 94. Okay? My grandma's gone. They're saying, okay, just a little bit more time, Mike. My dad's 67. Okay, a little more time. I'm 32. How much longer is this going to go on? It's a never-ending cycle. It's a part of systemic racism where, it's clear. It's unfortunate that incident with Floyd was televised, but I mean, even before that on camera, it was other incidents on camera, right? But nothing happened. And especially, and I don't want to go politically and talk about politics, but when you have someone that's supposed to be the leader, the ideal person to lead a country, and he takes, how long did he take? Like 4 or 5 days to even come up and say something to address what went on? That lets you know, if you're a person who is racist or has any type of racism streaming through your blood and veins, that, hey, especially with the comments that he makes, this guy's a president and he has the same views as us. Right. So that gives people courage right now. So right now, racism's always been here. It's been here for 400 plus years, right? It's not going away anytime soon. But I would rather know who the people are that's racist, so I know how to act around them instead of being blindsided. I've never been naive to think no one's racist. No one's racist. No. A lot of people in the world are racist, right? Even if they don't know they're racist, because they can have normal conversations with people that look like them, and those other people might think it's okay. But if you add anybody else from a different culture or a different race around it, it'll probably be out of the way. You know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think like while you were talking about Trump, it's very interesting because that's something people in Dearborn can get behind. Like if you see, yes, we will definitely save this live. I'm looking at the comment. We'll put it on our IGTV as well. But people in Dearborn were so happy when you said that right now. Comments, comments, comments. But I think to your earlier point, it's like these Trump supporters are more predictable, but it's like people in Dearborn who claim that they're not racist.
Oh my God.
But then do things like what you mentioned. And I want you to speak to that. I really want you to speak to the more, I guess, covert.
Personalized
Yeah,
things.
personalized things like you said earlier around that might not be their intention, but that's still the impact that their actions are having.
I mean, just and low key, like these are my dudes. Like I still have like presence in Dearborn. Like no matter what, every store I go to, somebody recognizes me, and it's like, oh my God, okay, whatever.
Saw you at Fairlane.
Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, what's up? Okay, you know, but like back then, I knew what it was, right? Because I went home, like I said, and I was like, I don't act like that. All black people don't think like that, don't talk like that. Some guys would be like, yo, hey Mike, what's up, my N-word? What's up? You know, I'm like, yeah, like I don't even say that word. Like you can ask everybody in my family, you know what I'm saying? Like I do not say that word.
Why do you think
for what?
Why do you think Arab kids think they can say the N-word?
Do you want me to tell you why?
Yeah, of course.
Because they want to be black.
I was watching this video.
I'm just putting it out there. Putting it out there.
Be real. So there was this video of Hassan Minaj, who's this Indian Muslim comedian, literally calling out the Asian community, but everything he said applies to the Arab community around like, you'll be the first one to like find, like basically wait in line for the new Jays, but like you'll also be the first one to be mad if your sister dates a black guy.
What? But on the back end, they're trying to date all the black chicks they can find, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's another aspect to it. Like you don't want me to date your sister. I'm a good guy, right? You trying to do something to a chick on the west side of Detroit, calling her out of her name, excuse my language, but a bitch and a hoe, this and that. That's okay for you. But me being a gentleman, I'm trying to take your sister out. I might even think about marrying her, see where this goes responsibly, but you don't like it because of the color of my skin, but you out there chasing women that look like me, you know? My thing is, and I want to say to, and we'll get back on that. My thing is, I want to say to people in Dearborn or just Muslims around that are paying attention, that will hear this later, and you keep saying all lives matters. Why are they just saying Black Lives Matter? Let me just tell you this right now, okay? You say all lives matters, which is 100% true. It's real. But all lives matter. All lives don't matter if Black lives don't matter. You get what I'm saying? Because we're included in the all. And no matter what book you believe in, the Quran, the Bible, God died for all of us, all of our sins. He didn't say, you know what, we're going to keep the black people out. I'm not down for their sins. Asians, I think about it. You know, it wasn't no picking and choosing. He died for all of us. And if you keep singling us out like that and you don't care, you don't help. I'm not saying you got to go out there and riot, because I'm not condemning rioting. But how long do you want? We kneeled, right? We kneeled.
Damn, Arabs are the biggest protesters.
Listen, trust me, I know. I'm woke.
We shouldn't be saying anything.
I'm woke, but look, we kneeled. You didn't like it, right? We peacefully protest. You didn't like it. We're rioting, and now we have your attention. So we did two other things before all this. We've been complaining about this, I want to say 400 plus years, but for the last 5 years, it's been a cycle.
Right.
And nobody's hearing us, right? People refer to us as monkeys, as animals. They're locking us up in cage. What do you think is going to happen to an animal locked up in a cage? We're going to bite back. We're going to try to free ourselves, you know? And to double on that, for all the Arabs in the community that don't care or don't seem to care, once they get rid of us, once they finish raping, robbing, and killing us, who do you think is going to be next? Let that sink in. Who do you think is going to be next? Okay. So, I mean, it was tough. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to fit in. And back then I saw that I lost myself trying to fit in, you know, and it took me a few years to actually find myself after high school because, like, literally I tried to embed myself in Dearborn. I tried to be Dearborn, but I realized I wasn't Dearborn. And that's what makes everyone unique, you know. Everybody in Dearborn was everybody in Dearborn. You know, I wasn't everybody in Dearborn. Yes, I took a few things from Dearborn. The education was okay. I became a better person knowing that I was able to reach a higher form of education. You know, it's something after high school. I did have teachers and nothing. I don't want to think that I don't want everybody to think that I'm bad mouthing Dearborn.
You can listen. This is not to badmouth. Like, that's not
Right.
your intention. And
Right.
we know
But
that. Like, at the end of the day, people need to be held accountable, and the things you love the most are the ones that you're harshest on. So be real and don't feel like you need to censor anything you're saying.
Right. But I'm saying, like, it's one woman. Okay. She lived across the street from me, like down the street on Argyle, but like across the street. And she was the older sister of a friend of mine, and she took me under her wing. To this day, she calls me her son. She wears a hijab. She married a black Muslim. She named her second son after me. You know, we talk to this day. Mom, if you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you're gonna watch this. Summer. Her name was Summer Beydoun. She got married at, I forgot her last. Al Mubarak. Summer Al Mubarak.
Did she play? Did she coach basketball?
Yeah, Selena Beydoun's sister. Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
Yes, she paid for my first tattoo.
Oh wow.
Like, that's a bond that's forever be there. Like, her children are my brothers and sisters. Like, literally, I go and watch them play football. I go and watch them play basketball. Like, I'm there. I'm supporting. Like, so I don't want anyone to think that nothing came out of, like, Dearborn's just this bad place. But Dearborn really just needs to wake up. And more so, it's not even the younger generation, because the younger it gets, the more woke they are, because they see it now. It's acceptable. But, you know, from us back, it's a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear, well, all lives matter. We know that. Like, that shouldn't be said. But still, to this day, Black people are fighting for just natural rights. If you look at the Constitution, it still refers to African Americans as 3/4 men, 3/4 of a man. We're not a whole human being, a whole man. We're not referred to in the Constitution. That still lives as a living document to this day. So that's why they're able to kill us like animals on the street. That's why they're able to lock us up in cages. You know why? Because the rules and the laws for this country are made for human beings. And if we're not referred to in the Constitution as human beings, they feel like they have the right to do it. Now they're saying, and this is what I can go for hours, but they're saying we need to change the plan. The system's broken.
Right.
Sweetheart, the system ain't broken.
Right.
The system's working exactly the way they programmed it to. Exactly the way they programmed it to. You know what I'm saying? And the system's not broken.
But, you know, people want to feel, specifically non-Black people, because I feel like most Black people know that. Like, it's not news.
So a lot of Black people, if not all Black people, know it. A lot of them cannot enunciate and maybe speak their mind the same way I'm doing. That's why I'm taking, and I'm not speaking for all Black people. I'm not. But I felt the need, and that's why, you know, you and I, we connected. I felt the need, like, we need to start the ball rolling. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's enough. Okay, yeah, it's fine. We reposting this, we reposting that, but I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been doing a lot of reading, a lot of studying of our great activists, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, like even Barack Obama, like things like of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So I can really gain up the knowledge and see what my ancestors did before me and what they went through and what they said and their thought patterns, so I can keep that in my brain.
Right.
Because it's the same world. The only thing is, it's hidden a little bit. And it was hidden before Trump. Now that Trump is here and the racists feel like they have someone who's backing them, they're starting to creep out of the shadows, get from behind the doors, and it seems to be okay to kill. You know?
So one of the things that video I was referencing earlier, the Hassan Minaj video, that he said was he showed the picture of George Floyd being murdered by the police officer, and then he zoomed out, and when he zoomed out of that picture, there was an officer. I don't want to misrepresent his race, but he wasn't white, and
I believe it was Asian. I know who you're talking about.
He was blocking to protect the officer, because that's just so ironic. And then he referenced the fact that the store owner was Arab and the store owner's clerk called the cops. And I think, like, I keep wanting to bring it back to, because I agree with everything you're saying. The problem is, I think a lot of our listeners also agree with everything you're saying. And I'm trying to get specifically my community to see that just because we're not okay with George Floyd getting killed by a cop, and just because we can get behind that, doesn't mean that we're not also playing a role in facilitating.
Of course. What is that? Joe and Ed's behind Fordson?
Joe and Ed's. Yeah.
Oh my God! So my junior and senior year, we had off-campus lunch. I would walk in with like half of the basketball crew and some of the seniors, and they would walk in scot-free, right? I walk in, the guy from behind the cash register will follow me through every aisle. Aisle. And I damn near wanted to say, my man, if you pick up one of those newspapers that you're selling right now, you can see me on the front page. I'm not here to steal anything. I come here every day for lunch. I just want a bag of the jalapeno crunchers, and give me a Mystic Kiwi strawberry, and I'll be gone. I mean, that was my little hookup from there all the time. I'm not here to steal anything from you, man. You know?
And I think what people aren't seeing the connection, and I love and hate that you included that story, because Joe and Ed's has been my childhood,
that's everybody's
grocery store, right?
Yeah, that's everybody's.
Like, literally right there. And so it feels close to home for me, and I'm grateful for you saying that, because it's just another reminder of how you and I move through this city vastly differently, and how one thing goes wrong or one person feels a little on edge, and that's a phone call to the cop, and that's another Black man getting killed. I just really want to make that connection to people, in case they think that it's just you feeling annoyed. It's not a minor thing. So
another story, one of my favorite spots, Yasmin Bakery. No, Golden Bakery. Sorry, Yasmin. Golden Bakery. I just went back. Like, I used to go a lot when I was in Dearborn. I lived kind of far from it, but every time I go, I get Minish, right? Jibney, right? And when I walk up, the girl behind the cash register, she says hi, and then like all the customers, they're Arab. I walk in, and all of them just stare at me, right? And I already got it in my head, like, because I could speak Arabic, right? So I order everything in Arabic.
Right.
And the
I don't even order everything in Arabic.
Like, I mean, I've been getting it for like 15, 16 years. Like, I know how to do it. I know how to say it exactly, right? And it just blows their mind. And before I leave, salam alaikum. And I walk out.
They think there's no chance. Like, they think you're just Black Muslim and there's no other.
Like, I just came from like somewhere on Tyerman, and I just saw the bakery, and I wanted to see what was in there. You know what I'm saying? But just even that naiveness, just that, you know what I'm saying? Like, people would think that's just so innocent, but they always expect something. Where they expect me to be like, hey, yo, shit. Yo, can I get some of that cheese bread? What's this one with the olives on it? No. I said it in your language. This is exactly what I want. and I said thank you and goodbye in your language. I lived in Dearborn longer than some of you guys. I've been there
Yeah.
since 3rd grade. My family
Right.
been there since I was 7, 8.
So, like, what is something, not that there's like a silver bullet or anything to solve this big issue, but if there was something you wish that everyone in Dearborn, specifically the non-Black Arabs, could do, or think about or reflect on, what would it be?
Honestly, it's just to educate yourself. Just to educate yourself. All of us, knowledge is power, and that's such a cliche saying, but
True.
knowledge is power, right? Especially nowadays with social media and things of that, everything is a shift. So everybody goes with trends. You know, if one person posted, if LeBron posted, you'll see everybody posting it.
Right.
But what if LeBron posts something way off board? You know what I'm saying? He's still going to get everybody to retweet it or repost it.
Right.
I want everybody, instead of just being so quick to click the repost button, do your research about it first. See if you agree. See if it makes sense first. Don't just try to get all them likes.
Right.
Instant gratification, don't do that. Don't do it. If you're doing it for the instant gratification, it's out of there. Educate yourself. Me, I haven't robbed anybody. I haven't been to jail. Oh, I got one speeding ticket, but I'm not going to talk about that. I was on 94.
You shouldn't even have to be saying this. It's so
I know,
sad
but
that you even have to be saying this.
I'm just talking about the stigma around all Black people, right? I wear my pants up around my waist. I always have, right? I don't smoke. I drink, but it's like a wine, about a glass of wine, like once a week, literally, like a glass of wine once a week. So I barely listen to rap music. The only time I listen to rap music is when I'm working out. I listen to Justin Timberlake, NSYNC. So the whole stigma of, all he does is wear Jordans and he wears his pants and he's always sagging and every other word is N-word, that, and educate yourself. Are all Arabs the same? Are all Arabs the same? No.
Exactly.
No. Are all Middle Easterns the same? No. Do you think you're the same as your sister? Do you think you can say you can't fit us all in the same box? Don't try to box one culture in and try to say your culture is different. And for my Lebanese, this is another conversation for another day. But I want to say this: for my Lebanese, stop acting like you're better than the Yemenis and the Iraqis, man. Because I've met some Iraqis and Yemenis that I ride and die for. Ride and die for. Ride and die for.
Definitely have to have that conversation because that's very relevant.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And again, people are entitled to their views and things of that nature, but let it be from personal experience.
You know what? People are not entitled to their views. How about that?
They are. No, they are.
I think certain views people aren't entitled to, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? But at least if you're going to have a view, at least let it come from your own experience, right? Don't say, oh, well, my homeboy did this, or my friend had an encounter with a Black person, so I'm just going to go based off of that. That's how they are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing yourself a disservice and a disjustice. You're closing your mind to the ability to open your eyes about, oh, well, you know what? They're not all like that. Shit, every race, every culture has assholes. Excuse my language. They do. True. It's just the nature of the beast. It's ignorance everywhere. You just got to learn how to depict it, stay away from it, or handle it, know how to be cordial with it. That's just the walk of life. So
I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
So much. It's horrible that you even have to talk through some of those experiences. It's horrible that you have to humanize yourself in front of people who should already be seeing you that way. And I just want to say that you're awesome. I really, really, I'm so grateful for you taking this time.
Appreciate it.
I want to, before we close out, is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything you'd like to say to close out?
No, if anyone has any questions, or like I said, I got hours of this.
We'll bring you back. No, we'll definitely you back on.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
mean, I love Dearborn. That was the place I grew up in. I know every nook and cranny, every corner in Dearborn. It's just that people need to start holding themselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? That point blank, people need to start holding themselves accountable. And once they start holding themselves accountable, then you'll see a difference, right?
right.
My favorite singer, don't laugh at me, is Michael Jackson.
Why would I let
And
you?
and The Man in the Mirror is the best thing someone can listen to. You look
I
at
love,
yourself first before you start judging. You know,
man,
that
please.
song is timeless. Literally, you cannot judge unless you start with yourself.
Mm, I love that. I'm so happy that you chose to end on that because that's my call to action for all of us. Each and every single one of us on this live has internalized anti-Black racism. All of us. Don't say you're not racist, you're lying. Because we've been taught it. We've been taught to live it. We've been seeing it. We've been just completely
Yeah, it's in your face. It's in your face.
and we try to, there's this thing, this phenomena that happens in Dearborn. You and I were kind of venting about it before. I was venting about it before getting on this live, where
Mm.
we think that we're better than our community, and we're
Oh
not.
yeah,
We're not better. And if we actually want to play a role to change anything, it is actually our role. And by our, I'm talking about non-Black Arabs or non-Black Muslims,
right.
to educate people in our community to be treating other people, specifically Black people, better. That's been my soapbox lately, just because I think once we start being woke, we just
Hmm.
start thinking we're better than people, and we don't do the man in the mirror conversation. Um, so yeah, Nadia, we can talk about that later. She's talking about she's amazed that we still love the town, because that's a complicated relationship for
It
sure.
is. I mean, it's where I grew up, right? It's where I grew up. I have roots there. My dad still lives there, and I do have friends, like I said, that I grew up with. That when if they say it's time to go down, I'm hopping in the whip and I'm going. Right? Like
Right,
those are my boys.
right.
But I can't hold that bad energy towards all that
Mm,
racism. I can't
mm,
hold on to that because I won't be. It'll hold me back from growing. Right? I won't have the ability to grow if I don't just. I'm not forgiving anybody. Right? But I have to let it go. I have to let it go, or it will block my blessings. It'll block me from internalizing and becoming the person that I was born to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to forget that. I'm never going to forget the faces. I'm not going to forget the names that those people, those certain names that those people call me.
mm,
Internally, that's still built in me. But
mm.
to hold a grudge takes a lot more energy than just to let it go.
Right,
Because those people who were acting like that, those people who continue to act like that, that's killing them inside.
right.
It's something
Fact.
wrong with them. It's not. I can't. I have to let it go. So
Mm. Mariam is asking what your experience was like in Dearborn. I do want to cut it in the next couple minutes because I want the video to be high impact. We want to bring you back on.
hmm
But if you want to address that
what my
in the next
experience
couple,
was in Dearborn.
we can definitely bring you back on because we could
I
talk
was about
about.
to say, didn't we just talk about that?
No, sorry, Dearborn schools.
Oh, Dearborn schools. Real fast. Some teachers loved me. Some teachers loved me. Some teachers didn't. I got in
Mm,
trouble for just things they thought I was going to do or things they thought I did, which my other classmates did.
right.
Um, One of my favorite teachers in middle school was a lady, she wore hijab, Miss
Hmm.
Jalul. She was my Arabic teacher.
What? Did you not see that? Mariam is asking. Mariam Jalul. She's saying
No.
her mom says hi.
Oh, no, I'm not looking at the comments. No,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Miss,
okay.
no,
So I thought you
no.
saw it when I pointed it out. Mariam Jalou, she's one of my best friends, but
Yeah, 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 no,
her
Miss
mom is
Jalul.
saying hi.
Yo, that's
She
like,
said
she
you were
was,
the first Williams, first of the Williams family
of
that she taught.
course, of course. I'm the oldest. I'm the GOAT. No,
Wow.
no, Miss Jalul I rock with like hard. Like she spent extra time with me teaching me Arabic. She made sure that I got it. Like she was never mean. She was all like very caring. And
Mm,
she saw that I wanted to like learn the culture. I wanted to learn the language. If I'm here, I might as well soak it up. And she was
mm.
always patient with me, and she pushed me to be the best that I can be when I was there.
Wow.
So, yeah, I
Hi,
have nothing.
Khato. I love that you called her out without even knowing that.
Yeah, Khoto.
I love it.
Yeah, that's
I so appreciate you. And this, as I have been reading the comments, and people have been super amazed just by your vulnerability, by you being so open, by you calling people out when they need to be called out. So I think it's safe to say we will definitely be bringing you back on again, assuming you're interested.
Oh yeah, yeah. Whenever you guys want it, we can keep going. We can keep going because I think conversations like this need to be had. I believe, like, and everyone who's listening, and everyone who is going to listen, if you have questions, send it to our inboxes, and we can address them on some of the future episodes.
Yeah,
But
I
I
love that.
mean, I'm a humble man, and I believe the first step to being comfortable with yourself and being humble is to be able to express things that not only have been good in your life but that also have been bad,
Right.
and I believe that's a strong character of a man, telling the good and the bad, things that have made you happy, things that have hurt you. Yeah, those things did hurt me when I was a young boy, a young kid. I was wondering why people didn't like me. And I knew why, but we would go out, we would hang out, we would hoop together. You know what I'm saying? I would pick you on my team, and then just one word or one action changes all that.
Mm.
But I'm over it. I'm good. I'm an adult. I'm healthy. I'm in a great place right now. God keeps blessing me. There's no complaints. I honestly, I would not change what I went through because I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't.
I don't have anything to say to that, but I think people need to hear this, and I think we need to continue the conversation for sure.
Right.
For anyone who's watching who has experiences either in Dearborn or in other Arab communities who want to be on, DM us. If you do not want to be on and want to submit a story anonymously, that is also something we're going to be doing. But just thank you for listening. Thank you so much again, Michael, for being here. Yeah. Happy Friday. I don't really
Right.
know how to end this right now other than
No, I love
grateful.
you, Miss Jalul. I'll tell her
Oh,
that.
that makes me so happy.
Yo, she like I rock with her heavy. Yeah, that was
Same
my,
here.
if I could say, that was my baby. So
She's awesome.
yeah, she
I
gets
love
she
that.
gets nothing but kudos from me. So yeah, I mean, we can sign off. If any, like we said, if anyone has any questions or anything for myself or Rima or anyone, just or any issues they'd like to see us talk about, just
Mm-hmm.
hit us up in the inbox and we'll bring it to a channel near you.
Yes, we will definitely continue these. We are posting this one. We're gonna save it, put it on our IGTV. So if you enjoyed this conversation, please share it to your socials. Encourage other people. Take the link, drop it in the group chats. Have
Oh
people
yeah,
listen
see,
to
that's what that let's do a question and answer. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
feeling that. I'm feeling that. So yeah,
same.
we
This
definitely will do that.
We'll definitely open something up like that where people can submit questions ahead of time. I love
Right.
that idea.
All
All
right.
right, Michael. Take care. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.